Hi, Wonder Hussy here. Today I'm out in Overton, Nevada, this little town about an hour outside Vegas. And there's this really cool museum, the Lost City Museum, that's dedicated to this little Mormon town that used to be out where Lake Mead is now. But when they built the Hoover Dam, dammed the river, flooded that valley there to create Lake Mead, the town was flooded out. They had to evacuate all the residents, so that's why it's called the Lost City. This is a museum dedicated to that little lost town, which was called St. Thomas. But I'm not really interested in going in the museum because, first of all, they charge money to get in. And secondly, I've already been in there once. And I mean, it's cool to see all the artifacts and stuff from the old-time settlers that, settled the Virgin Valley or whatever. What I'm interested in is, I heard that because the level of Lake Mead is down so low because of the drought, that you can actually see the foundations of that town of St. Thomas. They've started coming up again, or they are up, I guess. I don't know. Apparently there's this trail you can take out to them. It's about a 3-mile trail. So I've never done it before because usually I'm with photographers when I'm out here and they don't really feel like going 3 miles just to look at some old foundations that are popping out of the ground. But I've always been curious, so I think we should go check it out. All right, so I cruised out of Overton out to Lake Mead, which there is an entrance fee to get into Lake Mead. But anyways, you turn off the pavement and you come down this dirt road for a few miles. It's not really super rough, but I saw a guy in a BMW doing it, so it couldn't be that bad. But yeah, now you follow that road down to this little parking area overlooking this beautiful valley. I mean, look at this. This all used to be underwater. Lake Mead has dried up that much. But I don't know if you can see way in the distance there. There's some old foundations of where this town used to be, St. Thomas. Looks like there's actually some pretty good ruins. All right, so I'm hiking down the trail towards the old town site, and there's a sign up at the trailhead. It says it's a 2.5-mile loop. So it's nowhere near as long as I thought. I mean, 1.25 miles each way. Cake, and it's a very easy trail. Look, anybody could do this. Well, almost anybody. So really, I have no explanation as to why I have not done this before. I've lived in this area for so many years, and I've always been curious to check this place out. Guess I was just lazy. It's a beautiful day to be doing this hike. You can see there's snow on the mountains there in the distance. On the other side of those mountains is the north rim of the Grand Canyon. That's right, a mighty Colorado River comes through behind those mountains through the Grand Canyon, and then it comes out up that way. The Hoover Dam is that way, and then that blocked it up to where it flooded this whole valley here at one time. But like I said, it's dried up a lot. It's really scary when you look at, especially if you're down on the water itself. I mean, it's bad enough when you're looking at it from like a vantage overlook. You can see there's a big white ring around, like a bathtub ring around the side of the lake. The water's down like, I don't know, 50, 100 feet. I'm not sure how much. It's a lot. It's a lot of water. But when you're on the water, like on a boat, that's when you can really notice it. I mean, because then you're looking up at the white bathtub ring, and it's very dramatic. I mean, oh, look at this. You can see this used to be underwater because there's mussels shells. How cute. This all used to be under Lake Mead until they built a little town here by the name of Las Vegas that grew to about 2 million people, give or take a few 100,000 on any given holiday weekend. And I think about that all the time when I look at the hotels on the strip. All those hotel rooms, all those windows, and every one of those rooms has at least one toilet and one sink and one shower. Like, where is all that water coming from? Well, we were standing in it. I mean, look at this. You can see this is kind of marshy in a way, or used to be marshy. It is dried up now. Really sobering. for people who like to go la 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 and pretend like there's not a problem. Come out here and tell me there's not a problem. And they have these straws that they built in the bottom of Lake Mead to suck out the water and pipe it into town. I think there were 2 straws. One of them is already poking above the water, the level of the water. The water went down so far that the straw is exposed and it doesn't work. Second straw is almost poking through the top of the water. So they had to build a 3rd straw to get down to the very bottom and suck her dry. Apparently, can't leave well enough alone. I mean, all us people living in Vegas, we need to take showers and brush our teeth and wash our cars and water our lawns and stupid stuff like that. It's one thing I'll never understand is people who insist on pretending they're in Iowa and having a green lawn. Like, you're not in Iowa. You're not in Kansas anymore. This is the desert. Go with a desert xeriscape. Cactus and stuff is beautiful. I can't really talk because I like a nice steak myself now and then. And beef, oh, I read somewhere that it takes like 3,000 gallons of water to produce 1 pound of beef or something. So I'm not going to be too preachy about it because it would be hypocritical of me. And if there's one thing I don't want to be, it's a hypocrite. Okay, we've been hiking down this trail for just a few minutes and we've already come on some of the first ruins. Look at this. That was probably somebody's house, I guess. I mean, it was simpler times back then. You just had 1 room to live in, but it looks like there was a little side room there. I don't know what that was. Really, there's not a whole lot left to these ruins. So it's not like we're going to be able to like poke around and find old newspapers and toothbrushes and stuff. But I just think it's interesting to see the fact that this whole town was evacuated, probably at great expense, and then totally submerged. And now this. It's just so surreal. Look at this. You know, they tell all these stories about Lake Mead, how the mafia used to dump their dead bodies in it, blah, blah, blah. And there's all these bodies at the bottom of Lake Mead. Well, shoot. The more Lake Mead dries up, I guess the more dead bodies, alligators, crashed airplanes, sunken Cadillacs we're going to find. There's no telling what's at the bottom of Lake Mead. But I guess we'll find out, huh? All right, now I think we're pretty much at the town site because you can sort of see little stumps coming out of the ground there, and then there's a bunch of foundations dotted around all over the place. This is actually really interesting. This is more interesting than I thought it would be, I'll be honest. I thought it was just going to be like the concrete slab foundations of the buildings, but look at this. You can actually see a decent amount of this old place. I mean, I guess this was the foundation? And those are just like a crawl space windows? I don't know, maybe not. Maybe this was the roof. Wow, look in here. Holy cannoli. Look at this mud, wow. So cracked and perfect, but I think that that is the ceiling and then this is just the top of this building. Holy crake. This is so interesting. Let me try to crawl in here. Right there, hold on. Wow. I mean, look, that was like 1 room, that was another room. That door led out to some other whole room. Far out, I mean, this is really far out, and then this thick mud. Oh, it's like clay, man. Wow, look at this. I don't want to get too dirty, but dang. Can you imagine? Like those poor people in Hurricane Katrina, they thought they had it bad. Imagine your house being filled that high with this thick, icky clay. Then there's this over here. I don't know if this was like a chimney or what, but you can't see, and I stupidly didn't bring my headlamp. Woo! Oh, it's just like a cistern. Never mind. I thought it was like the top of a chimney poking out. I mean, because it is right next to that house we just looked in. This ruin over here doesn't look like much either. Just a little bit of the I guess, very bottom of the house, because look, here's the threshold. It's interesting, you know, like this house, obviously, this was the bottom of it, but then that other house, like, there was mud in it all the way up to the ceiling. That doesn't make sense. Maybe that was a basement in that other house. I'm not sure. Oh, wow, look at the ruins of this place. Almost looks like it was burned up. It's weird. This is a big house. Wow. I mean, the history of this place, it was initially settled by Mormons in 1865, and then sort of on and off occupied by Mormon settlers, different groups. Can't see down there. Look, here's the stairs. That used to be their front stairs going out. Wow. But yeah, different groups of Mormons settled this out here back in the 1800s. And then I guess by the early 1900s, it was I think like population 500-ish little town out here. Then they let everybody know that they were flooding it, you know, to build the dam, Lake Mead. So everybody was evacuated, and I think the last resident left in 1938. And then I guess the lake filled up, and nobody even knew this place was here. Till now. Look at this tree. Holy cow. Isn't that interesting? This tree, it was probably this beautiful big shade tree that, you know, who knows what was here. Maybe that was the school and kids used to come play under this tree. You know, lovers used to court each other under this tree. Maybe they used to hang people from this tree. Who knows what went down on this tree or in the shade of this tree. And then this tree, which had no choice as to where it was growing, found itself completely submerged underwater for a number of years. Isn't that crazy? And I'm assuming that being underwater would kill it. So it's, you know, it died. And now, if it could have just hung on a little bit longer, waited out the flood, so to speak, it would have found itself growing again out here in the sun in the year 2017. Isn't that nuts? There's a lesson in there, I think. If something bad happens, adversity strikes, wait it out, man. Wait it out. Here's another little chimney looking thing. There's a lot of these out here. I'm not really sure what that is. Looks pretty new compared to this foundation, this stucco or whatever it is. Looks a lot newer, so I don't know if this is a recent construction or what. Maybe they were trying to, maybe it was something to do with the lake. I don't know. Weird. Now over here in the distance, it looks like we're coming up on probably the most impressive ruins to be found out here. All right, this is an impressive ruin. I mean, you can actually see the walls in this one. Crazy to think that this was all underwater. There's probably mermaids swimming in and out of these rooms. How cool is that? I bet some little mermaid claimed this as her little boudoir, and she used to sit in here combing her hair with a fish skeleton or whatever mermaids do, right? Well, that is so interesting. I mean, this foundation is rising out of the ground quite a bit, so I don't know what the deal is here. Oh, look, here's the front walkway. We're walking right down it. Looked like it was ADA compliant. Wow, they were pretty progressive back then. I mean, this must have been a pretty nice little town back then. This beautiful, peaceful valley. Miles from the craziness going on in, well, I guess even Las Vegas was nothing when this was founded. I mean, this town was founded in 1865. I don't think, well, Las Vegas wasn't officially incorporated as a city until 1905. So, I mean, there was probably the old historic Mormon fort was in Vegas at that time, but not much. So these people were isolated out here. Wow, here's a really cool ruin of, I don't know, this looks like it was a duplex or something. Two buildings right next to each other. Maybe it was just one big house, but pretty impressive. I mean, look at this stuff. It was made out of, like, what do you call it when it's rock and cement and stuff like that? I guess that was how they built things back in the day. Let's walk up here. Whoa. I just love how you see all those cracks in the mud. That's also partially because it rained pretty good the last couple days, so I guess everything got wet. And then when it dries up again, it gets those real cool cracks. Love that look. Whoa. Oh, and then I see this Fulda tank. Some kind of collapsible water tank. Now, why would they have this here? Is this to feed the wild burros? Do they care? Interesting. It says it holds 1,500 gallons. Oh, that's cool. Fulda tank. It's like a redneck swimming pool. Redneck hot tub. Anybody want to go for a dip? Oh, no, I wasn't talking about a dip in the pool. I was talking about a dip of Copenhagen. Listen, if you hear the sound of gunshots in the background, don't be alarmed. Apparently there's some people doing target practice somewhere out here. I don't know where they are, and all I can say is I sincerely hope that they practice good firearm safety skills. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I understand you have your right to have a gun, and you have your right to go shoot it out willy-nilly in the desert, but it's just kind of freaky, man. There's a lot of people who want to enjoy the desert for other stuff, and I don't really want to have to wear a flak jacket to do it. Anyways, that's all part of life, right? We all have to share this planet. Some people's hobbies include stuff that could kill other people. Hey, look at this place. Wow. Look at this grand staircase that used to go into this. Now, this must have been the courthouse or something, because it's pretty grand and it's huge. Let's go up the stairs. Holy moly, look at this. So interesting. Wow. This was one huge building. Then it was all underwater for years and years. Now it's back out again. What a trip. Here's the back staircase. Go out the back. Who knows what they had out back? Maybe it was like a church, you know, and this was out back behind the church where they used to have like their Sunday picnics. And the boys and girls would do their courting. It's another one of those. It's the same exact configuration. It's like this weird, almost grave-shaped rectangle and then this chimney-like thing. I've seen a bunch of those out here. I'm sure somebody watching this video will be able to tell me what this was or is. Yeah, here we are out back behind the old church, which is now surrounded by clamshells. It's so funny to me. It's a folly of man, right? We're gonna dam this river and make a lake. And then Mother Nature goes, oh yeah? Or I guess it's not even really Mother Nature, it was fellow man. They guzzled it dry. Bet. Oh yeah? Alright. Got one more ruin to look at here down in Old St. Thomas. This is a really easy hike if anyone ever wants to try it. You just drive out from Vegas to Lake Mead, all the way over to the north entrance by Overton. And right by the entrance is a turnoff for St. Thomas. You just drive down that dirt road. It's a little rough, but any car could do it. And then it's a pretty easy 2.5 mile loop through all these really neat ruins. Wow, this was a pretty big building too. Full of mud, just like the rest of them. Anyways, like I said, might not be the most interesting abandoned ruins to explore because there's no artifacts left over, but it's still just a really cool place historically, you know, considering the whole lake history and what's going on with the lake now. So check it out. Oh, but don't bring your metal detector because there's a sign saying metal detector is prohibited. They don't want you to disturb the archaeological record.